Only a few years ago, there were beautiful hills, lush green forests, murmuring fountains, and waterfalls in many parts of Odisha, including this place. The forest dwellers were leading a happy and peaceful life with fruits, flowers, and roots obtained from the lap of nature. They also obtained minor forest produce like sal leaves, fuel wood, fodder, honey, lac, mire, and many other things which they sold and earned money. As far as possible, flora and fauna were left undisturbed in their own surroundings. Man-animal conflict was, so to say, an aberration in the above setting. But alas, the above scenario did not last long. With the advent of mining and industrial activities, pristine virgin forests and green vegetative cover had been damaged. The hills were left barren and lands desertified. The clear rivers and water bodies disappeared. When they disappeared, crops failed, grass did not grow, and there was no drinking water. The industrial world started over-exploiting nature to fulfill its ever-increasing demand, and the harmonious life of flora, fauna, and human being got disturbed and imbalanced. This sort of illegal and unethical activities continued over the years. Mostly, tribals and poor villagers were displaced from their homelands. They tried their best but could not face the challenge of the land grabbers individually. They discussed among themselves how to save their life and property. At last, they came to a common platform and stood united. They held Gram Sabha meetings with great hope and enthusiasm and discussed about their pathetic real-life stories.
We know that, according to the 73rd Amendment of Constitution of India, villages will hold Gram Sabha meeting.
ए ग्राम सभा माध्यम नहीं करले से काम दाम भी करि परिबन आमे जिमती ए गाँव रे चढ़ी आसीचे आमर गाँव रे पानी नहीं चाषबासर सुविधा नहीं पीवा पानी नहीं बिजुली नहीं शिक्षा नहीं.
See how we have been cheated. It has deprived us of everything and taken all the benefits. The company has grabbed our 4.42 acres of land forcibly. We have been paying land tax since 1914.
ଆମେ ଯେ ଖୁଣ୍ଟି କାଟି ପରଜା 1914 ମସିହାରୁ ଖଜଣା ଦେଇ ଦେଇ ଆସୁଛୁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସୁଦ୍ଧା ଖଜଣା ଦେଉଛୁ ପୂର୍ବ ପୁରୁଷରୁ ଆମେ ଏଠିକାର ବାସିନ୍ଦା କହିଲେ କାସିଆ ଗାଁଟା ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରତା ସେମାନେ ଜବରଦଖଲ କିଛି ରଖିଥିଲେ ଆଉ ପଟ୍ଟା ଭୁକ୍ତ କରି.
We are earning our livelihood for the whole year. Now this area has been acquired by the mining company. It has neither given any compensation to the landowners nor employment to the land losers. Rather, they are threatening us to take some legal action against us. Many fields were being cultivated. We were also getting a good harvest. Our fertile land has been converted into a desert because of West iron ore deposits. We have no food for the children since 3-4 days. I cannot feed the children. We have no ration to cook. How can I send my children to the school? I am also facing similar problems. My agricultural land has been covered by mining debris. I cannot grow any crop. Our family is now residing in the company's land. I was assured of a job for my son and also some compensation. For this, I had to go to the company's office many times, but it was of no use. My hope is now dying day by day.
आज को 50 वर्ष हलानी एथिरे माइनिंग खोड़ी आसी किंतु गाँ रो किछि उन्नति काम करनी ए पर्यंत आ जहा एसेलमेंट रो 3 जगह रो पानी खसुची
is spoiling our agricultural field. Fruit-bearing trees are being cut and covered under the debris. We are digging the soil for agriculture, But the government is asking us to develop agriculture. How can we do that? A person does not get even a square meal a day. Though SL Mines had assured, only 3% of this entire village have been
जदि एसल
employed
माइन
by
चली
it.
करथिला मात्र हमर गामर 3 जण मात्र लोक बाहर देशर लोक आनी काम करू कारु कते
Only
जण लोक
three?
मात्र 3टा लोक
The company has cut many trees of the villages, but has given no compensation to them. In spite of complaint of the villages, it is increasing its boundary from 3 sides, including forest land, day by day. Many trees were covered under the debris.
जो पुते
Neither
ही
the villages
वर्तमान
nor the
ग्राम
government
माने
could get any
इनकम
money.
कर पाई बेले
Has the SL
ना
Mines
सरकार
given
पाई
any
बेला से
compensation?
पुत कर देला माटी
No.
तार किछि क्षतिपूरण
It
देई
did
छी
not.
एसल मानी देलानी
We visited Kashia village where a Gram Sabha meeting was going on. We knew from the villagers that SL company had created many problems for them.
मोर जगह ऊपर
3.63 acres of our agricultural land has been covered under the debris of the ASL mines. It is not listening to our complaints, rather threatening to take legal action against us. Since last 50 years, because of rampant digging activity of SL mines, walls of our houses are falling and developing cracks. Our agricultural land has been grabbed by the company. Whatever is left has become useless for agriculture. We are wandering here and there. Local officers are not helping us. We held Gram Sabha meeting and wrote to the collector for solving our problems many times. It seems the situation will be like Kalinganagar and Posko.
Yes, land acquisition for industrial and mining activities in Odisha has given birth to many heartbreaking events. The Kalinganagar incident was one such touching and painful event. The tragic story portrays a gloomy picture of wrong handling of the process of land acquisition. The constitutional strength of Panchayati Raj institution, that is the Gram Sabha, was perhaps bypassed by the powerful and clever stakeholders. As the poor land-losing tribals were not brought into confidence, it hurt their sentiment, and a tussle between the tribals and the other stakeholders raised its ugly head, where the poor tribals were victimized badly. As we have seen, it took a couple of months for the situation to cool down, but the tribals felt that they were being cheated by the large industrial houses, perhaps in connivance with the government authorities. However, few dwelling units have been built in the rehabilitation colonies for resettlement of the displaced persons. But some tribal land losers have not yet got adequate compensation. However, some welfare activities are now being initiated for the displaced villagers. Vocational training centers are set up in the area for upgrading the skills of the youth. For empowering the local women of the rehabilitation colony, some livelihood programs are being held regularly. But this may not compensate the loss of the tribals' land and habitat which they had inherited from their forefathers. The villagers had sent a resolution to the district collector for getting their grievance redressed. But they told us that no reply was received from the office of the collector. So they sent a letter to the Secretary, Revenue and Disaster Management Department, Government of Odisha. We interacted with some villagers and knew that no reply was received from the office of the Secretary so far. So, most of the villagers are annoyed and angry.
Brothers, we are sending a series of letters to the higher authorities, but getting no response from them.
माइन्स एरिया विस्थापित समस्या अनेक अच्छी तेणु आम कलेक्टर आरडीसी रेवेन्यू डिपार्ट को लेखिक बारंबार जनइला भी किसी समस्यार समाधान हो पारुनी तेणुक द्वितीय थर आम चिठी एवं आउ थे दौचु एवं कोर्टर जजमेंट को भी ता सहित आम दौचु जे कंपनी माने कि भलिया ठकी करी लोकठू जमी नहीं जाउछथि कंपेनसेशन देवा सहित चाकरी देवा सहित ताकू पुनर्वास थैथान करने सहित कौनसी जिनस न देबारु कोर्ट मध्य जजमेंट देइछि किंतु याकू कौनसी कार्यकारी करूनांती प्रशासन।
How long can we wait? Don't you see the fate of the POSCO agitators? How they are being cowed down? It seems the government officials will support the outsiders without solving our deep-rooted problem.
We can see the villagers lamenting about the POSCO agitation. The POSCO agitators don't want to lose their traditional livelihood of raising beetle vine. They don't want to be brainwashed by the promise of the POSCO authorities. Their argument based on their own wisdom needs to be honored. Taking land from the landowners without their consent is really unethical and undemocratic. The question of paying compensation comes afterwards. In fact, arguments and counter-arguments still continue among the stakeholders. Hopefully, the problem will be solved amicably very soon. Let us hear from the government authority about functioning of the POSCO project.
And now the operation is limited to Govindpur. And till that, we have number of beetle vine demolished. It's first phase 615 plus 262, and total amount of compensation paid will be around first phase 9 crore 31 lakhs, and this time 2 crores 15 lakhs. Self demolition by the beetle vine owners work is going on. People are willingly demolishing their beetle vines and taking compensation as per the decision of the Rehabilitation Periphery Development Advisory Committee headed by RDC Central Division.
But some of the affected villagers of Govindpur have their own stories to tell.
It is a matter of deep sorrow. The old couple walk in the beetle vine and earn our livelihood. Our sons don't bother about us. We are landless. The government has ruined everything. Police in large numbers came and beat up some villagers. What could we do? They are forcibly demolishing the beetle vine creepers. A final decision should be taken. Either POSCO should stay or leave this place. The problem should be resolved once and for all. We are not getting adequate compensation. We should get 3 times of our estimated loss. This was our demand. If POSCO project comes up, we cannot stay here any longer. We produce cash crops like coconut, cashew nut, mango, jackfruit, etc. The government has assured us to provide dwelling unit and patta before evacuating us from this place. We have been paying land tax. The government gave us assurance. We supported the POSCO project. But we were driven out of our village by those who opposed it. By this time, 6 years have elapsed. We 52 families are languishing in this transit camp. Each family member is provided with 20 rupees per day for food. The government gave us temptation and created 2 groups. One group supported the POSCO project and the other group opposed it. And in the process, land is being acquired from the villages. The government is not fulfilling its assurance given to us.
This is a transit camp where 52 families have been temporarily sheltered. Their day-to-day life seems to be pathetic. The project could have taken off if the people and the village had been taken into confidence. The fallout of the land acquisition had been explained to the people and the rehabilitation package had been approved in the Gram Sabha. After all, this is what the state government instructions say. The people of Badbil are holding a Pali Sabha meeting and discussing problems being faced by them due to land acquisition by various companies. They are also discussing about Forest Rights Act 2006. Forest Act recognizes the rights of displaced communities and settlement of all forest villages into revenue villages. We can now fight for our genuine right. Nobody can displace us from our homeland without the consent of the Gram Sabha members. But till now, we were getting misguided by the forest authorities with some plea or the other. Revenue Department, Government of Odisha, via its letter dated 27th July 2001, has instructed all district collectors that it would be mandatory for them to consult the Gram Sabhas and Panchayats before submitting any proposal for land acquisition. While submitting proposals relating to such acquisition of land in scheduled areas, the resolution passed in the Gram Sabha and Panchayats relating to such acquisition should be sent to the appropriate departments of the government before effecting any land acquisition in scheduled areas. The refinery of Vedanta Aluminium Limited, established at Lanjigad in Rayagada district for processing bauxite mined from Niyamgiri hills, tells another story. The company authority told us that the plant was established after taking the consent of the villagers who held a series of Gram Sabha meetings.
Land acquisition have been done earlier also, and it is a process, and many times lands are required for many purposes.
এটা হচ্ছে আমার আর মজ উপযুক্ত সম্মান দিয়া দিব তা সহিত আপন মানଙ୍କର जो घर अछि तार उपयुक्त मूल्यांकन करा दिबो जदि गछ दिबो तार मते उपयुक्त मूल्यांकन करा दिबो सबु उपयुक्त मूल्यांकन करी नियम अनुसार आपण मानकु प्रदान करा
काम मागबा पई भी सब पुलिस सभा हमर डिस्कशन हेउ.
Prior to setting up this